Avengers Endgame's ending explained. The Infinity Saga is over. By now, if you're a Marvel fan, or even just Marvel curious, then you've seen the big conclusion to the studio's first 11 years of films, Avengers Endgame. And what a conclusion it was. The film's ending leaves every one of us with a lot to ponder, right guys? So we're going to break it down and explain how it impacts the characters. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, needless to say, spoilers follow. And motivate us by clicking on the subscribe button. Captain America is worthy of Mjolnir? We will start by answering the most striking question. Well, let's pick up from the moment where Hulk snaps the Vanished back to life, and it leads to past Thanos attacking the Avengers. Yes, a lot goes down during this fight, but one of the most significant moments is Captain America finally lifting Thor's hammer. Yes, it was surprising. He could barely make it move in Age of Ultron, right guys? So, what changed? The going theory is that Cap was holding a secret, and that is why he couldn't lift the hammer then. But with Cap confessing in Civil War that Bucky killed Tony's parents, he's now worthy to pick up the most powerful weapon. Iron Man's sacrifice. Let's now discuss one of the most satisfying scenes of the movie. Thanks to Iron Man that he executes his own snap to dust Thanos and his forces. And finally the battle ends. But unfortunately, using the stones takes a heavy toll. Yes, Tony Stark dies from his wounds. Ouch. The most emotional scene of the movie and the day we lost Iron Man. Later, at Tony's funeral, we see all of the heroes and everyone important to Tony's life aren't there. Remember the little boy from Iron Man 3? Yes, Harley Keener. He is this teenage boy. But will Tony's story end like this? Certainly not. Tony is survived by young Morgan Stark. Yes, she has inherited her father's penchant for snarky comebacks and bucking authority. Whoa! So, we can say that the MCU's Morgan Stark will chart her own path. And who knows, maybe one day wear the armor, like her dear old dad. Wow, and that would be a real comeback. Or, wait, before we jump onto this, maybe there is something else for him. You have read Marvel comic book event known as Civil War II. Then, you guys can guess something here. Yes, Stark is badly hurt, but then we find out he created an AI of himself. So, that means Marvel Studios could copy the comics and keep an AI version of Stark as a recurring character. Search for Gamora? Guys, it was really fascinating to watch Peter Quill scanning for 2014 version of Gamora. What can we assume from the end? There's a slight possibility that Gamora was killed during Iron Man's snap, or it looks like the Gamora killed by Thanos in exchange for the Soul Stone is truly dead. Yeah, exactly just like Black Widow. It is exactly the way Hulk explained. Not even the Infinity Gauntlet can bring back someone who died in that way. Perhaps Guardians 3 will feature a quest to track down this past version of Gamora. So, maybe there will be a search for Gamora. What are your views about this? Steve finally gets that dance. At the end of Endgame, finally Infinity Stones were in the right hands, and now Steve Rogers is tasked with returning each of the Infinity Stones to their respective timelines. So, Rogers goes back. He returns all the stones, and this past trip should only take seconds. But what we all witnessed, that there's an old man sitting on a bench, and he turns out to be Steve Rogers. Whoa, that was really shocking. Guys, you remember the ending of Captain America: The First Avenger? Yes, Steve telling Peggy Carter that he's going to need a rain check on that dance. Now, after all these years, Steve is finally able to make good on his promise. He goes back in time to live out his life naturally with Peggy. Well, the previously established rules of time travel in Endgame make this ending pretty confusing, but the end result is that Steve is alive in the present as a senior citizen. Steve will probably be out of the MCU picture for the foreseeable future, but here we all should not forget that how Steve could return to youthful. Remember, he even became Captain America once more when he was rejuvenated with the Cosmic Cube. But the ending wants to convey that how he lived a full life and is now a very, very old Steve Rogers. But this opens up more questions. What happened to the Steve Rogers who exists in the past timeline? Did the time-traveling Rogers just decide to live in secret? Did he then sit idly by and watch all the things he'd already witnessed? If so, how did he get back to his original timeline? Also, did Steve Rogers just give back the Soul Stone to Red Skull? So, does that mean Black Widow is coming back? What are your opinions? Share with us in the comment section below. A new Captain America. Steve's final gesture is to hand over the shield to his crime-fighting partner, Sam Wilson. Guys, Sam is the one who has taken up the mantle of Captain America in the comics. Bucky served as Captain America for a time in the comics. The new Disney Plus streaming service will feature a show called Falcon and Winter Soldier, so perhaps the story will see them both trying to continue the legacy of Captain America. That way, we could get a chance to see them both wield the shield over the course of the series. The Young Avengers. Great, now that sounds awesome, right? Though there's not a Disney Plus show or movie announced for the Young Avengers, but we couldn't help but see how the stage is set for them to make their MCU debut. Did you notice? Cassie Lang, now a teen, she can suit up as the size-changing hero Stature. Also, Kate Bishop has also been one of their number. So, that means it wouldn't be hard to introduce the rest of the gang. And imagine, soon, Young Avengers getting a team up and running. The sound at the end instead of a post-credit scene. Well, there were no traditional post-credit scenes. Marvel did include a clanging sound at the end of the credits, along with the company logo. Were you able to guess the sound? Well, it's most likely the hammering of Tony Stark. It's like he is building his very first Iron Man armor. So, in the end, Marvel chose to pay tribute to the fallen Iron Man. It reminded us all that this all started with him, and now his story is complete. Or perhaps it's a hint that someone else will soon be picking up the hammer and following in Iron Man's footsteps. Now that's tricky, and the coming years will tell us all the answers. Which movie scene did you find most interesting and confusing? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to watch our other video on Avengers Endgame, Timeline Explained, for more interesting information.